looking to throw, and he throws into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown!
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you.
Here's the pitch to Willie. There's a minor swing to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over.
Out of the stretch, back goes to Wilson, throwing deep down the left side, jump for the ball, it's good by Carter, into the 25 to 20, and Carter made a spectacular play.
Today, some of the old legends return, while new heroes are about to be discovered.
The NFL Today is sponsored by The Power is On. And now, live from Candlestick Park in San Francisco, here's Brent Musburger.
And the voyage to the Super Bowl continues here in San Francisco, where it has become a January ritual for 49er fans to flock here to cheer their team on in the playoffs. These Niners have won 2 Super Bowls in this decade, and today they begin their quest for a third, set against the background of that vintage California afternoon, as clear and as sparkling as some of the wines in this particular area. The weather here today in San Francisco is gorgeous. As for the visibility, let us reserve judgment until the afternoon ends, because as you know, it was rumored that we attended a football game yesterday in Chicago. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. San Francisco and Minnesota. What a difference. And the 49ers have been beaten in the first round, twice by the Giants and once by the Vikes, and Montana has been unable to stick the ball in the end zone on any of those 3 occasions. Now today, it is going to be just as tough.
And missed a couple of days of practice this week, but he also lost 7 pounds. He got to this ball game because in practice.
Will McDonough interviewed Coach Walsh.
Bill, I think if there was any team in this league that you didn't want to play in the playoffs, it's Minnesota.
Yeah. They're good. They may be the best team in football today. They've been the best from week to week. Not every week, but from week to week, they've been the best team in the league. And they're playing they're at their best right now. And so it's...
I want him back next year as my coach.
Well, a follow-up to the Fog Bowl. A little too vis-a-vis this film in the Chicago Bears.
Well, you know, it's the rule in this league that the 2 teams exchange film sort of as gentlemen. Some of these teams playing here today were concerned, say, hey, there's no film of the second half of that Chicago game. So Pete Rozelle ruled this morning that they only have to send the first half. And you know...
You were out amongst them last night.
And it was you ask him what he thought his team had to do.
Being greeted as they step out of the dugout here at Candlestick. Their offensive team will be introduced today. NFL Today at halftime.
Are still haunted by their playoff loss to Minnesota last year. Stung by the memories of a great season gone awry. Bitter with the taste of unfulfilled expectation. And waiting for their day of redemption. And that day could be today.
We're live at Candlestick Park in the city by the bay, the home of the 49ers, as they entertain the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC Divisional playoff game under just perfect weather conditions. Temperature 49 degrees, wind north 10 to 20 miles an hour. The forecast is sunny and cool in Buffalo, where the Bills beat the Oilers 17-10.
In 3 years, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. Only gained 57 yards. He's a big play guy. He didn't score a touchdown, but
Today at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears beat the Eagles, this couldn't be more perfect. The 49ers will kick it off as you look at this marvelous scenery in the city by the bay. Mike Kofer will kick it off. Very strong leg. That's Darrell Harris back in the middle for Minnesota. A remarkable thing about today here at Candlestick Park, you hear so much, John, about the wind in this city and in this ballpark, but there is almost none.
today is a perfect day for football for everyone. The quarterback, that's really the only thing that bothers a quarterback is the wind, and as you say, there's none down there today.
Line drive kick to Harris. Bobbled. Picked up at the 4. And tackled at about the 18. Return of 15. Wade Wilson starting at quarterback, of course, for Minnesota. Outstanding game against the Rams. He'll be going against this front three to begin with, at least. Roberts, Carter, and Fagan. The linebackers, Haley, Farnhorst, Mike Walter, and Romanowski. In the secondary, McKyer, Dunn, Griffin, Ronnie Lott, and Jeff Fuller. Look for him to go after Griffin. Alfred Anderson and Alan Rice. The Baylor pair start for the Vikings. Wilson. Pump fake. His receivers knocked down. Hassan Jones, the intended receiver. He's hit by McKyer, and a flag is down.
Well, the Vikings were coming out early to go for a big one. As you said, it looked like Tim McKyer just tackled Hassan Jones about 5 yards off the ball.
Foul. Number 22, defense, automatic first down.
That might have been a wise tackle.
Well, you know, it's very slick out there. And you don't know if Tim McKyer looked like he was planted there. He just went to make the hit. Now he wasn't falling down. If that was within the 5 yards, that was a legal hit. After 5 yards, you can't do that.
Automatic first down for Minnesota. Finney in the backfield. And Wilson. To Steve Jordan. Gain of 5. The Viking offense. Wade Wilson, the quarterback. Rice and Anderson started as the runners. Carter and Jones, the wide receivers, and Steve Jordan, the tight end. Zimmerman, McDaniel, Kurt Loudermilk, Terry Tausch, and Tim Irwin up front. That's a good offensive line. 2nd and 4.
And in that offensive line, that Kurt Loudermilk going up against Michael Carter, that's going to be a big matchup.
Carter split wide right. Jones to the left. In motion now. Wilson out of the pocket. Hustling for a first down. One of the things that the 49ers thought they had to do was keep him in the pocket.
Well, and watch here, Michael Carter going against Kurt Loudermilk. That's one we were talking about right there in the middle. The thing Carter has, besides great strength, is that getting off and getting his hands up quickly. You see what the Vikings did? They not only had Loudermilk on him, but he had help from both guards, and then they finally cut him at the end.
Alan Rice and Rick Finney are now the running back tandem for Minnesota. Wilson throwing every down. That's a tough part of the field right there. Footing is really treacherous. Haley with a sack for a loss of 6.
One thing the Vikings were talking about, Pat, is keeping a tackle all day on Haley. That time I think they got caught with Alan Rice on him. Watch Haley coming from the outside. See, he has to be blocked by Rice. Rice tripped and fell over his own guy, Gary Zimmerman, and couldn't get to Haley.
You know, John, that particular part of the field, I don't know exactly why. I was down there before the game. That is treacherous. Right in that area, around that San Francisco insignia, right there. You can see.
Well, you know, last week it had a big rainstorm here in San Francisco, and they didn't have the field covered. That looks like a diseased area.
Wilson to Hassan Jones. Pass complete. Stopped by Don Griffin.
Don Griffin is starting there for Eric Wright. He's number 29, the corner, playing, and this is his first contact. You watch 29, he's playing against Hassan Jones. Good cover guy. He's just coming off a dislocated shoulder. So the thing the 49ers were worried about is, can he hold up on his first hit? It looked like he did okay.
That'll bring up 3rd and 7. And again, for those running backs and the offensive linemen, defense as well, the footing is very, very questionable right there. To Hassan Jones by McKyer. Gain of 15 and a Minnesota first down.
You know, the one thing that the 49ers have to watch out for, and I think maybe everyone, is they play so much on Anthony Carter, and he had such a big year and a big game last year against the 49ers, and Bill Walsh says if he doesn't beat us, they can't beat us, that maybe they don't worry as much about Hassan Jones. And Hassan Jones is a very, very good receiver.
On 1st and 10 in 49er territory at the 49er 46. Jones is left, Carter is right. To Allen Rice. Their first rushing play, picked up 5. They'd be satisfied with that.
Yeah, Allen Rice is a guy who had a big game last week. In fact, you see he gained 79 yards, and that was the most yards gained by a Viking all year. So it's not only that running isn't a big part of their game right now, but rushing hasn't been all year. And so, as they all say, if we're going to win with a pass.
Every one of them says that. Wilson, quick handoff to Rick Finney. Straight ahead. Stopped by Jim Fonhorst. Picked up 3. Make it 3rd down.
I'll tell you, Kirk Loudermilk, the center, really took off and got Michael Carter on that one. I mean, you talk about a center firing out. We'll watch it again, and he looked like he was shot out of a gun. Watch the center here when the ball snapped. He just fires, and he starts getting Michael Carter and puts him right on his back. Now, if you don't think that is strength, then you don't know what strength is. I mean, there's a man. He was in high school. He was a state wrestling champion. Carter was a state, world shot put guy. Boy, the wrestler put down the shot putter on that one.
Third and very short.
Loudermilk has a great personality for his center. In fact, Wade Wilson says he just has enough jerk to annoy everyone.
And that also makes him enough of a jerk to be a leader.
I like jerks like that.
Hand off to Anderson. And if he got it, he just barely got it. Stopped by Pierce Hope.
Hey, at the end of it, he didn't look like he had it, but at the beginning, I think he does get it. See, again, it's where the ball goes. I think at that point, he had the first down. Then if you look at it at the end, when all the red jerseys jump on and Ronnie Lott comes in there, it doesn't look like it. But the Vikings did get the first down.
1st and 10, Minnesota at the 49er 36. The winner of this to go to Soldier Field next week and play the Bears.
I wonder what the Bears think if it's the Vikings. The Vikings have beaten the Bears 3 times this year.
Jordan on the move. 49ers offside unless somebody in the offensive setup moved too quickly. Jerry Markbright.
Ball start. Number 76. Offense. First down.
That's Tim Irwin. Tim Irwin had to block Charles Haley, and I think Charles Haley is the best pass rusher the 49ers have. And if you're going to get pressure, you're going to get it from Haley. So that's a guy you have to get blocked. And I'll tell you, Irwin is very conscious of that. Haley goes from right to left, plays both sides.
1st and 15. Haley's on the right side this time, and they go around him with Allen Rice, but not very far. Fonhorst, the tackler.
Here's Haley here. The time before he was there, so he's going to rush the passer. Boom, they're going to get him knocked out and try and get around him on a run. You know, that's what people do, is when you get a pass rusher, you want to run at him. See, so they catch him inside, boom, they run outside him. Or you run around a draw on him. You keep messing with him.
2nd and 11. You have to mess with him. Irwin has him this time. Here's Wilson. Pass complete to Allen Rice at about the 30. Pickup of 6 short of a first down.
Yeah, these Viking tackles are going to have their job cut out today. Both Gary Zimmerman, who's in the Pro Bowl, and Tim Irwin, who plays on the other side, because passing is so much of the game, the Vikings game, and they have to get Haley blocked. I think Loudermilk can handle Carter in there. I've seen evidence of that.
Brings up 3rd and 5 at the 49er 31. Wilson hasn't missed. He's 4 for 4. Pass is complete again, and now picked up by Ronnie Lott. And the ball seems to be alive. Lott's still alive. Flag on the play.
They're spotting it back there in the 30, Pat.
They're going to bring that whole thing back.
Well, not only that, they spotted the ball on the 30, and then an official threw a flag way back there. So we got some things going. We got a spot on the 30 and a flag.
It's time for a conference.
You know, the officials here, all year they work in crews. Then in the playoffs, they're kind of an all-star crew.
The runner was ruled down by contact. It's 4th down. There's no foul on the play. No foul.
Not a very receptive audience for that call.
I think as we look at it again, what they're saying is that the ball carrier was down there before the fumble or interception. They blew the whistle. Looked like Ronnie Lott came up with it.
Allen Rice catches the pass.
See, now you don't know when the whistle blew, so you have to assume that the whistle blew before Ronnie Lott ended up with the ball.
With Bucky Scribner holding, Chuck Nelson is good, just barely got over the crossbar. And the Vikings break on top 3-0. 49ers haven't had the ball yet with 8:38 here. 5 for 5 he was last year in the playoff game. His kickoff goes to Del Rogers. Rogers to the 35. Good return. Darrell Fullington on the stop. Look how close this field goal is. Nelson with Scribner holding.
He knew exactly what he needed.
Daniel Stubbs' reactions to that successful kick by Chuck Nelson. I think Nelson comes in second on the celebration.
I think Nelson would love to take this field home with him.
Roger Craig on the first play from scrimmage for the 49ers, stopped after a gain of 2 yards. Scott Studwell on the stop. The Minnesota front features Al Baker, Henry Thomas, Keith Millard, and Chris Dolman. David Howard, Scott Studwell, and Ray Berry, the linebackers. Berry, who played so well last week against the Rams. Lee and Rutland are the corners. Harris and none better than Joey Browner at strong safety. Roger Craig, the lone setback. The He'll probably go there again. Craig hit behind the line of scrimmage and for a loss of about 3. Henry Thomas and Scott Studwell, the 49er offense. Craig and Rathman the runners, John Taylor and Jerry Rice wide, and John Frank the tight end. Wallace, Sapolu, Cross, McIntyre, and Harris Barton up front.
Watch the penetration here. Watch Thomas gets in there. Studwell gets in there. The 49ers were using 2 tight ends on that play, and that was Brent Jones who they ran into.
Montana back to throw it. Hustled out of the pocket and sacked by Henry Thomas.
I'll tell you one thing, Pat. Bill Walsh said he wanted to start out and be in sync. And sync is just the opposite of the way they started. I mean, and the Vikings defense took them out of it.
Anthony Carter back deep to return Barry Helton's punt from the 49ers. Helton will punt from about his own 11-yard line by the time he steps twice at about the 15. Carter, dangerous Anthony, hit by his own man. Is hit by Al Noga as he tried to cut upfield, a punt of only 31 yards. He ran into Noga, and that, whatever he had in mind, made him change his mind. 6:40 left in the first quarter. The Candlestick Park in San Francisco, the NFC Divisional playoff game. The wild card Minnesota Vikings against the NFC Western champions 49ers. Minnesota leads it 3-0. First and 10 Minnesota at their own 48. A remarkable guy right there, Jerry Burns. Very
appreciate him, and I think the fans of Minnesota do, and I think fans all over the country are. I mean, he's just a guy that's kind of fun to root for.
He really is. Anderson gets nothing. Up by Mike Walter. Just to bring you up to date as the NFL season of 1988 winds down, the Bears beat the Eagles 20-12 at Soldier Field yesterday. Cincinnati over Seattle, and Buffalo earlier today beat Houston. All the home teams won so far, at least.
You know, that hasn't been one of the 49ers' big things. The 49ers at home this year, their record's 4-4.
Second and 10, Wilson. Semi-rollout, screen pass, nothing doing. To Finney, loss of 5, stopped by Ronnie Lott. And Jeff Fuller put the heat on. Those records you were just speaking of, John.
Well, everyone else looks like it's a big advantage. The Bears are 8-1 at home. Look at that, Buffalo and Cincinnati 9-0. 49ers 4-4.
That might say something for colder weather. Third down. 3 wide receivers set up for the Vikings. Wilson has to come out, or try to. Finally does get it out to Rick Finney. Flag on the play. In the grass.
Wade Wilson was really upset. He thought that he wasn't in the grass. Going to see the pressure come. He steps up in the pocket. They say right there he was in the grass before he threw the ball. That's a bunch of baloney. I mean, protect the quarterbacks, yeah, but don't take the game away like that. And the guy's down there hanging around his foot, and they say that's in the grass. No way.
Bucky Scribner. The punt in the direction of John Taylor for the 49ers. End over end to Taylor. He is dangerous. Flag on the play. Right at the end of the return by Taylor.
That's going to be against the Vikings for piling on. Taylor was down, and one of the Vikings came in late and dived on the pile. That'll be 15 big yards of field for the 49ers.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 53. Minnesota. Late hit. First down.
Sam Ano is number 53.
As you'll see him from the left-hand side of your screen, he's going to come in and jump on. See him right there?
So the 49ers take it over in good shape with 4.
You know, every time he comes off, Schnelker's always arguing with him, telling him what he should have done. And he said, you know, you can't be perfect. He expects perfection.
Montana back to throw it. Gets it out to Brent Jones. One of the 3 tight ends that the 49ers have, stopped by Reggie Rutland. A pickup 11 and a 49er first down.
Well, the 49ers have been mixing that formation in there where they play 2 tight ends, and then they can, you know, sneak either one of them across. They're doing it to spread out that Viking defense and to get an extra blocker in there. You can see both tight ends are on the right side now.
Montana back to throw it. Flushed out of the pocket. Montana out of bounds, about a yard short of a first down. Out by Joey Browner, but he got 9 yards.
Montana can still do this, but if he's going to do it, he has to do it to the right. That's where he's the best. He can get flushed out to the right and still throw it. He's looking, now he doesn't see anything. He is going to get as much as he can and then get out of bounds before Joey Browner gets here.
He doesn't want to take Joey Browner on.
No, Joey Browner brings a big load.
They're at the 28-yard line of Minnesota. Back to Roger Craig. Craig hammered. He got 3 yards. That should be enough to move the sticks. Scott Studwell made the hit along with some help from his friends. Good block by Guy McIntyre. That's Floyd Peters, defensive coordinator for Minnesota.
Floyd Peters has always been one of the top defensive coordinators in the league wherever he's worked, and just wonder when Floyd Peters' day is going to come to get an opportunity to become a head coach in this league. I sure think it's not only here, but it's past due.
Here's Montana. He has Taylor inside the 10. Lee.
Watch Lee here. He gets beat on the bump. If you're going to be up there square, you got to get him. You see what happened is Lee missed Taylor. He lunged at him. Taylor got by him to the outside. Then Taylor had to step on him.
Of course, they got to have protection.
This is where it starts. We'll see Millard here on Guy McIntyre. You have to stop that penetration in the middle. McIntyre does an excellent job.
First and goal, San Francisco at the 8. Montana fake to Craig. Takes it out to Brent Jones again. A name we haven't heard much of, but he's caught 2 key passes. Gain of 6.
Yeah, because again, they're 2 tight ends. This is a bootleg, fake one way, come out the other way and hit Brent Jones. Again, Brent Jones is in there as a second tight end. And he's really in there for Tom Rathman. They take the fullback out and play with 2 tight ends, Jones and John Frank. No, neither quarterback has yet to throw an incomplete pass.
Second and goal at the 2. Montana again. Touchdown to Jerry Rice. Out. Montana hits Rice, and at the top of our broadcast you said they need production from 3 key people. 2 of them just produced.
You know, in the 3 years Montana hadn't thrown a touchdown pass in a playoff game, Rice hadn't caught one. 2 of them broke out of their slump in 1 play.
It'll be Barry Helton holding and Kofor kicking to try to make it 7-3 San Francisco. And so the 49ers capture the lead. Francisco up 7-3. 1:49 left in the first. He's 48 yards. The 49ers kept the ball 2 minutes 47 seconds and finished it off with a 2-yard touchdown pass from Montana to Rice. Here's Kofer's kickoff. Darrell Harris fields the short one way up at about the 18-yard line and gets outside the 30, where the Vikings will start.
Watch a touchdown. What the 49ers do is they bring Rice in here. He's just going to come off the line and boom, make an out pattern here on Carl Lee. And again, that's where size and strength is good. When you get down here to the goal line, just got that big body, just move up, just get inside. Carl Lee looked like he didn't have a chance.
Minnesota, 1st and 10 at their own 31. 49ers leading 7-3. Darren Nelson in the backfield now for the Vikings, and Wilson has his pass picked off at the last second by Ronnie Lott. Intended for Darren Nelson. Wilson under pressure.
That's what'll do it. Darren Nelson is a secondary receiver. Darren Nelson's going to be off to his right, to the right of the screen. See him, he's looking to the left. He's looking in the middle, pump, pump. Now he comes back, but he really didn't look out there long enough because Ronnie Lott was just sitting there waiting.
He does that a lot. Ronnie Lott. The reverse to Rice with some room and some blockers. Rice for about the 9. Stopped finally by Browner, but a pickup of 21.
You know, and that one blocker you were talking about was Joe Montana. John Harris was the guy who had a block. I don't think John Harris knew who was leading him. And Harris tried to go underneath Montana. Watch Rice here. Now watch 16. Montana's going to be the leading guard out in front of him. Harris, 44, comes underneath him to take him out and gives himself up. And if you look at that and saw that was Montana, you'd say, hey, you don't have to do that to a quarterback.
1st and goal at the 9. Rice on the move. The handoff is to Craig. And Craig pounds to about the 6. Keith Millard on the bottom of the pile.
Well, and John Frank has to be in the top of the fight. He was blocking David Howard, 51, and he hasn't quit. They can't get those guys apart. That was John Frank. He starts blocking and watch 86. He's going to block 51 Howard. But he takes him, boom, takes him to the outside. Stay with him, stay with him, stay with him. Plays over, grab a face mask. Start to go down, reverse him, pin him, get on top of him, get both shoulders down for a 3 count.
Looked like something you might see in Yellowstone National Park.
Or on Saturday morning television.
Craig. Hit by Studwell at the 5. Picked up 2. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, the 49ers 7. The Vikings, and it's 3rd and 5 at the 5 for the 49ers, who already lead 7-3 as Rice moves in motion and Montana goes back to throw it. Chase to Rice. Touchdown.
A touchdown in the playoffs. I think Joe Montana was tired of hearing about that throwing one. They said, we didn't get it, we'll show you. tell you, that loss last year, they lived with that one for a year. And you talk about a chance to get back. This is it.
Over for the extra point. 14-3, 49ers. Two short touchdown passes. 2 yards and now 5 yards from Montana to Rice.
Well, Rice started in motion from the left side, came all the way across, and just got inside the goal line. That one was against Reggie Rutland. See, now Rice had started way over on the other side. Now he comes in motion. Now the ball is snapped. He just runs up the field. See, he just pushes off a little. He looks back, comes like he's going into Reggie Rutland, and just has enough room out to that sideline. I don't know that Montana even saw the completion. But he has to be happy about it. He hasn't thrown an incomplete pass yet.
I think he saw it.
Well, he probably had a good idea. The way things are going, it had to be good.
2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. I think he knew it by the crowd reaction as well.
Anything had been wrong in those 3 years when they lost the first round of the playoff is that they'd worked too hard. And they were, they weren't rested. So these 2 weeks, he's kind of taking it easy, and he looks like he has a rested team.
Darrell Harris knocked out of bounds at the 30. Return of 24.
These are really the 2 guys that are going to do it or have done it all year for the 49ers. Jerry Rice in the left and Roger Craig. Because you're looking, if they're 10 wins, Rice has 9 touchdowns and Craig has 9 touchdowns. So when they score, then these are the guys that win. Now, in their 6 losses, Craig only had 1 TD.
Anderson and Nelson, the running backs for the Vikings. That's Anderson. Gained 8. Stopped by Fonhorst.
It's interesting on the 49ers side, Montana and Jerry Rice have gotten together, but Anthony Carter hasn't caught a pass yet. And in that first drive, the Vikings were working Hassan Jones, and I still feel you got to get the ball to Anthony Carter. But I don't buy that stuff about double or this coverage or that coverage. He's the guy you throw it to him, he'll come up with it.
He's the breaker. That's Rick Finney for a first down. Stopped by Fuller, Pat Summerall, John Madden. We're at Candlestick Park. In the 49ers and the Vikings, it's 14-3 San Francisco.
Get a little frustrated, and you don't want that. And here we're into the second quarter, and he hasn't caught a pass yet. And I think now you can't. I mean, that's over. But I think now they better start about getting one to him soon.
He is split wide to the right this time as the Vikings go with 3 wide receivers. They run it again with Allen Rice this time. A gain of only 3.
I don't think the Vikings are running feeling that that's the way they're going to beat the 49ers. They're just running, trying to keep that pass rush down. Because the 49ers have been playing them in their nickel situation. And, with their nickel people, with the pass rushers and the defensive backs, I think they're trying to run against it, but just so they don't tee off and think every time they do that, they're going to pass.
At the Minnesota 45, second down and 7. Wilson back to throw it. Again under pressure, and down he goes. Here's Holt. Daniel Stubbs.
Bill Walsh said yesterday, he said, if we're going to get a pass rush, we got to get it with Pierce Holt, number 78, a rookie working on their guards. And that's where he got that one. Pierce Holt is a rookie, and he missed the first 8 games. Then he's really been coming on lately. Watch Carter getting knocked down right there by Greg Cox. That's one of the reasons he didn't catch a pass. He goes wandering around there without looking. They're going to knock him down.
3rd and 14. Wilson's flushed out again and chased again. Gets the ball to Alfred Anderson. Anderson, midfield and into 49er territory, very nearly a first down. Gain of 18 it is, a first down Minnesota. Clutch run right there.
Wade Wilson was saying last night that, we don't have a running game, and what we like to do is just get some little outlet passes to our backs and lure runs like that. You see Alfred Anderson, he was back there blocking, then he let his guy go and just slipped out into the flat, and Wilson hit him. He said those, to us, are like runs.
He got a good block from Terry Tausch to spring him for the Viking first down. Nelson. That's Wilson. Looking deep for Hassan Jones, and there was nothing there. Don Griffin with good coverage.
That's one thing that Don Griffin can do. In fact, Eric Wright, whose place Don Griffin has taken, said this week that Griff is the best pass defender, the best cover guy we have. So that's not the question today. It's that he's just coming off a dislocated shoulder, and can he take the contact? Because he can cover. Don't worry about Don Griffin. He can cover.
He's wearing a protective harness that is not too restricting, but is at least some additional protection. Anderson in motion. Pitch back to Nelson. He's knocked out of bounds by Charles Haley. Not much there. Gain of 1.
Knocked out of bounds. He was darn near knocked out of the stadium. But I'll tell you, this guy, he made the Pro Bowl this year, Charles Haley. I'll tell you, he is some player. I mean, he's one of those guys who plays defensive end. He plays linebacker. He has great speed, great tackler, pass protector. He has everything going for him.
Including enthusiasm.
Right, and he has enthusiasm when he goes for a ball carrier or a quarterback.
Third down and 9. Wilson chased out of the pocket, has to throw it on the ground. And a flag thrown by Jerry Markbright. Torrey Nixon was the man on the blitz right in his face.
Well, Charles Haley was there too. Charles Haley did an inside move. You'll see him right here. Usually an end goes this way. Haley did. Haley's here. He goes boom right inside Irwin. He beats him to the inside. You see, he expects the outside to watch him. He just takes quickly the inside, and he's the guy who made Wilson bring the ball down.
Fourth down. You threw it right down to the...
Jerry Markbright gives you commentary. Told Wilson, hey, you threw it right down to the ground.
Well, he's written a book.
Yeah, he's done that. And I think he was right on that. I mean, Haley was the guy who did it. Then Torrey Nixon was the second guy there.
Right.
If there's no rush, you can throw the ball down just to stop the clock. But you can't throw it down to avoid a sack. I think that's what Markbright was telling Wilson that he did.
You just heard the very end of that conversation. Scribner is on the field, the Minnesota punter. And they'll mark it at about the 45. Taylor back deep for San Francisco.
There it is right there. You see, Haley was there, then Nixon was coming, and Markbright said that he got rid of the ball to avoid the sack. I don't know.
That's what I would do. And so would, well, I don't want to put myself in that category, any intelligent person. Taylor at the 9. Carl Hilton made the stop, a 46-yard punt by Scribner. Back at Candlestick Park, here's the way it's gone so far. Montana is 5 out of 5. 2 touchdown passes, both to Jerry Rice. Minnesota's turnover led to 7 49er points. And Anthony Carter has not caught a pass so far. It's a pretty short story, but tells a pretty good picture. Here's Roger Craig, hit right at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1. John Harris was where he was supposed to be.
You know, the Vikings have a tough defense. I mean, they give you that pressure inside, and then they always get one of their safeties up. It's either John Harris or it's Joey Browner. And when they come up, then they play like a linebacker, and that gives you 8 men up. So no matter how you block the run, you're always a guy short.
Second down. John Frank in motion. Montana yet to throw a pass that wasn't complete. Still hasn't. Jerry Rice. Covered by Carl Lee, or chased by Carl Lee. And a 49er first down.
You know, Jerry Rice was saying this week that this is the first time that he's felt good. And, you know, he hurt his ankle against the Rams. Then he played for 6 or 7 weeks on a bad ankle, just being out there. And he wasn't the same Jerry Rice, but he figured it's better being out there and playing and let him defend him and try and get to other guys and not playing. And now I think you're seeing the real Jerry Rice today.
He's caught 3 to Taylor. Incomplete, no flag. Defense by Reggie Rutland. That was close.
Watch Taylor here. He fakes to the outside, then tries to get Rutland going that way. Then he comes to the inside. Rutland was there just a little early. He had that left hand there a little early. But it's tough being a corner. I mean, you got to give them something. I mean, these guys can't get out there and just do everything perfectly. They're out there on an island. I mean, they're naked out there fighting for their lives.
49ers second and 10, their own 40, right in the middle of the soggy spot. Montana gets it out to Craig, and Craig breaks one tackle and gets the first down. Scott Studwell. A gain of 12, mostly on an individual effort by Roger Craig.
Hey, he ran right over Ray Berry, and that's what the Vikings were worried about. Craig in the open field running through their defense, because they all feel, when you talk about guys in this league that are tough to tackle, Roger Craig goes right at the top of that list. Ray Berry, a second-year guy, starting for Jesse Solomon, just found that out.
First and 10. Handoff again is to Craig. Around the corner. Stopped by David Howard, but he got 7 yards.
Hey, if this guy can get going, if the 49ers can get Craig going and running the way we've seen him run, especially against the Rams in that first game down there, they get this kind of day out of Roger Craig, there's no way they can be beat.
I think one of the differences in talking to the two coaches, Jerry Burns said, we hope we can be able to establish the running game, and Bill Walsh said, we can run the ball. We just don't want to get behind, but we can run. Craig by Henry Thomas, a gain of 2, about a yard short of a first down in Minnesota territory.
That guy has to be an old nose.
That's some paint, some blood. Third down and a yard. Craig again. Didn't get it. Carl Lee. A loss of perhaps a yard.
Let's just watch it. They're going to run to the right side there. See the linebacker coming off. You see the safety coming up. There's the corner coming up, Carl Lee. You know, we always look at Carl Lee as a defensive back, as a cover guy. In fact, he's made the Pro Bowl this year. But that's the other thing that they have to do. You know, you get those guys, they're little guys, only 180 pounds, and they're fine when they're out there covering. Then when they run a sweep there, and they got that outside force, then they have to play it like a safety or a linebacker.
He got a good assist from a linebacker, David Howard. And the 49ers have to punt. Leo Lewis back deep from Minnesota. Flag on the play. That looks like it's going to be against the Vikings, and that will give the 49ers a first down.
And the fans knew that one too. They saw that movement. They all started to cheer because they know that it's more than a penalty. it gives the 49ers some more downs in their territory.
Another meeting at the summit.
That's the thing, you always on that fourth down, when you're less than 5 yards, you darn near have to play cautious punt return. You don't go for the blocks, you don't go for the stunts. You're always in the huddle, remind your punt return team, stay on sides. Because if it's more than 5 yards, then you can get...
Full start. The play does not count on number 60, offense.
They called it against the center, Chuck Thomas. Thomas is the snapper for the 49ers. Now what they have to say is that he moved the ball. See, because he can move. I don't see anything. He can move his head up and down. I mean, they can't call him for that. It has to be something on the ball. That looked okay to me. He has to be able to move his head up to look at the defense and back.
They bring it back. Here's the kick. And Leo Lewis at the 10. Knocked out of bounds at about the 22-yard line by Ron Heller. So we have 6:53 left to play in the first half with the 49ers on top 14-3. John, there has to be a reason to come to a contest like that, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, how do you dress? How do you get up in the morning and say, well, what are you going to wear? Well, I think I'll just wear nothing.
Not a bad idea, but Wade Wilson gets it out to Steve Jordan, the tight end. Haley now playing linebacker. Gain of 17. Haley made the stop.
Jerry Burns was saying last week against the Rams they only completed one pass to Steve Jordan, and he said we just couldn't get him open. And he said I would like to see him be a bigger part of our offense today. And he thought that he would be.
Anthony Carter split wide right. Jones left. Finney in motion. Wilson sacked again. Larry Roberts this time. The fourth time today.
That is the difference. The 49ers are doing to the Vikings today what the Vikings did to the 49ers a year ago in this playoff game. They're putting pressure on them. They're not doing it with a lot of blitzing. They're doing it with a four-man rush. They're doing it with different guys. Haley, we saw Roberts there, getting pressure in different areas.
Second down, they need 14 for a first. Incomplete. Intended for Jones, Hassan Jones, defended by McKyer.
I still think, and I don't, mean to beat something to death here, but I don't think you can have a player like Anthony Carter and get halfway through the second quarter and still not have thrown him a pass. I mean, I don't care if they're using zone, don't tell me they've done it. You can find a way. I mean, bring them underneath, do different things in motion, bring them on and out, bring them up. I mean, just so many different things you can do. You can find a way to get it to them.
Let's see if they do. Wilson sacked again. Roberts again was the first one there. And Haley close behind.
And if the 49ers rush like that and the Vikings block like that, where Anthony Carter is academic anyway. No one would have a chance on that one. This is a pass rush. Watch Haley taking off. Cox, number 38, coming free on a blitz. There's Roberts, 91, and all three of them get to Wilson at the same time.
And Scribner comes in on 4th and 23 to punt it to John Taylor. And look out again for him. Takes a Viking bounce and rolls to about the 30. The 49ers will take over. David Howard down it. 45-yard kick by Scribner, including the Viking roll.
Guys, but the season's over. We can get depressed or we can help each other through it. Murphy Brown, Monday nights on CBS.
It's the once defeated Razorbacks and the likely #1 NFL draft pick, UCLA quarterback Troy Aikman. That's tomorrow, 1:30 here on CBS. 49er first down at their own 30. Montana back to throw it. Try to go up the middle into the slippery spot to Brent Jones. Didn't work. Browner on the coverage. 49ers have the ball, but just to analyze what they've been doing to Wade Wilson.
I'll tell you, the big thing is, look at that 5 sacks. He's been knocked down twice. He's had to hurry the ball 3 times. He's had 1 intentional grounding and 1 interception. So this first half isn't planned the way they wanted it. Now, he's thrown 4 balls to the wide receiver. All of them have been to Hassan Jones. 2 for 4, 4 for 6 to the running backs, 2 for 2 to the tight ends. Has not attempted a pass to Anthony Carter.
49ers lead it 14-3. Flag on the play as Montana is taken down by Dolman. Second time he's been sacked, but a flag on the play.
It looked like it was against Keith Millard. He jumped. After he jumped, Jesse Zappulo did a good job of blocking him, I'll tell you that.
Number 75, defense.
Millard.
Second down.
And Millard was trying to get off before the ball was snapped, but watch him after that. Jesse Zappulo does a nice job of blocking him. He gets square, stay with him, stay with him, stay with him. Look at that. That's not bad.
That spot on the field is difficult for a defensive lineman to get any sort of traction right there.
I think the quarterbacks would probably like to throw from there all day then.
Probably. Roger Craig, he can't keep his footing. Only got a yard. Ray Berry on the stop.
You're right, and it's right in that area. It's like a mud pile in there, and they just can't get any traction. We've seen from time to time both sides where the players are changing their cleats, because in this type of thing you want long cleats. A short cleat will not take. When you go to make a cut like that, you watch Craig here, you're just going to slip out of it. Although on that one he was just tackled. But you can't get drive off it.
Montana fake to Craig on third down. He gets it to Rathman at midfield. Stopped finally by Berry, but the 49ers move the sticks.
There's the 49ers sideline. You're looking at the Polaroids, looking at the adjustments that the defense is making against their offense, and then deciding what plays they're going to call the next time. Tom Rathman came into this season with 1 goal, and that was that he wanted to catch every pass in games and in practice that was thrown to him.
So far he has. Here's Craig. And out of bounds, no gain. Maybe not even back to the line of scrimmage. Scott Studwell is the man who broke it up. Millard also in the chase.
That was Millard who got the penetration, and he was the guy who really made Craig go backwards and eventually have to go out of bounds. Here's a fired up guy today, Keith Millard, because he's from this area. You know, he went to high school about 15 minutes from here. So he has some people here, you know, the guys he went to high school with, and kind of coming home and all that deal.
Flag on the play. Montana will go for a free one. Pass is incomplete. Intended for John Frank. But a penalty marker down. Jerry Markbright again.
Offside. Number 75, defense. Second down.
Millard again too soon.
Watch how they're going to block Millard, though, Pat. It's interesting. Guy McIntyre is going to block him. Then Rathman comes to the outside. He's in there, so what McIntyre does is take the inside away from him, and then Rathman is going to take the outside. So Bill Walsh is not going to let Millard put that quick
And the 49ers on top 14-3.
Arkansas, UCLA.
Candlestick Park in San Francisco. 49ers leading Minnesota 14-3. The CBS local affiliate. That's their helicopter looking down, furnishing those pictures on a magnificent day. 2nd and 6. Montana just has to get rid of it. He was chased by Dolman. He was intending, or in the direction of Jerry Rice. Millard also in that chase of Montana.
You know, Bill Walsh does the first 25 plays and has a chart, and the night before he always sits down and orchestrates the way he wants the game to go. So on that card that he's carrying, he has the 25 plays. So you can see what they were today: 14 run and 11 pass. Now that's pretty good balance for the 49ers.
It's the kind of balance he's looking for. Pass complete to Mike Wilson up the middle from Montana. Stopped by Fullington.
But one of the interesting things he was saying, he would like to be able to run more. And he said the thing that's going to dictate the 49ers running is how well their defense is doing. He said last year we played them, we couldn't stop them. So they were scoring, so we had to get in a shootout and pass a lot more than I wanted to. Then our pass protection fell apart. But he said if our defense can hold them, and they aren't running up and down the field on us, then we can have a good mixture. And that's what he's had on those first 25 plays.
And that defense has done an excellent job.
And a big pass rush on Wade Wilson. 5 sacks already.
That's Rathman. Out of bounds at the 12. Finally by Joey Browner and John Harris. And they're doing this against the NFL's #1 defense.
And you got to love this guy, Tom Rathman. I think when you talk about a guy like him, you just say he's a football player. Hand him the ball in the middle. Usually he's a blocker. He does some pass receiving. Then every once in a while they throw him a bone like this. And I'll tell you one thing about Tom Rathman. When he gets close to the sideline, he's not going to run out of bounds.
He looks like he could handle a bone.
He puts his head down and he runs straight up the field.
1st and 10, 49ers. The Vikings 12. It's just Craig. And a flag on the play. Reggie Rutland and Joey Browner stopped Craig, but a penalty marker on the play, holding against the 49ers.
Holding number 51.
He's not even taking any. He's not even making any excuses.
The intense eyes of Roger Craig. One of the best. 14-3 with the 2-minute warning. And Will, all are here at Candlestick.
I like that stance on Dick. He's getting right down there in amongst them where he can see what's going on.
Al Baker stopped Montana. But this call timeout.
Yeah, there's a guy who knows how Brent Musburger's going to go and talk to him about what they're going to do. But see, an old football player, you always put a towel down before you take a knee. You see Brent Brent doesn't know how to take a knee.
In golf, that's a 2-stroke penalty. Montana to Roger Craig.
I'll tell you something today. In this first half of football, Joe Montana is about as hot as a quarterback can be. He's about as efficient as a quarterback can be. But I don't know how many balls that he's thrown that hit the ground yet.
Not many. A couple that he threw away, but
you were down on the field before the game, and you said you talked to him, and he said that he's never felt this confident going into a game in a long time.
He said, I never have felt this ready and confident. Rice. Rice's third touchdown of the day. He and Montana, for them, a day of atonement. 21-3, the 49ers lead the Vikings. 38 seconds left to play in the first half.
Bill Wall said he wanted Jerry Rice fresh for this one. I'll tell you, Jerry Rice looks very fresh. See that pattern, and he runs on Rutledge. That's what they call a post corner. He starts into the post and then comes back to the corner. Reggie Rutland starts into the post with him, keeps going before Rice comes back to the corner. Watch it here. He's going to come in, sell him on this. Rutland starts in here. Now he comes back out. Let's watch it on the clicker. Watch him. He starts in here. See, now right there he sells him. Right there he sells him. He's going to the post. Rutland takes it, and now he can cut back. And look how he turned him around. Right now he has him beat. Boom.
And a strike from Montana.
Yeah, that's a pretty good combination. A guy who can move like that and catch like that, hooking up with a guy who can throw like that.
Vikings have put Darren Nelson back deep now to return the kickoff from Kofor. 21-3 with 38 seconds left. 10 plays, 70 yards. The 49ers win. Touchdown pass again here, taken by the short man, Steve Jordan. Runs it out of bounds. The story of the 49er drive.
Joe Montana, I think, has been waiting for this one. It's a funny thing. He started this year with the quarterback controversy and who's going to start, and then is Joe Montana over the hill? Should he retire? Should he play? And to come back with a half a football like that should put a lot of that stuff to bed.
Wade Wilson back in the shotgun and flushed out of the pocket. Gets away from one, throws it on the ground, and the flag is down again. Intentional grounding. Daniel Stubbs was the man who applied the heat.
Jerry Markbright again is saying that Wade Wilson wasn't throwing the ball away to stop the clock. He was throwing the ball away to avoid a sack.
Intentional grounding. Number 11 offense. Penalty enforcement is the spot of the foul. Loss it down. Second down.
Here's Bob Schnelker. He sends in every play with a fullback, and you wonder at what point either Bob Schnelker or Jerry Burns would start thinking about Tommy Kramer, and you wonder more importantly if Wade Wilson is thinking that.
Wilson is just going to let the half run out, and let's go back and see if we can't regroup in the 49ers.
You have to get your pass protection, and they don't have it.
Scheme yet. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, the Bill graphic just shows that the Vikings haven't been in sync this half.
Here's Finney. And the 49ers will take another timeout now and make the Vikings hunt it.
That was a good move by the 49ers because, you know, there is a rule here that after a fair catch, you have a free kick. Now, what I would do, I mean, I'd take a shot at this. They could put pressure. I would put a rush on. I would have my return man fair catch, and then I would take the free kick. That's a rule in football that hardly ever seems to be used.
I think Bill Walsh is right in sync with you because he was just talking to his return man, John Taylor. Now, this is too far away for a field goal.
Yeah, but if he could catch it at midfield there,
oh, sure.
And it's a free kick, I mean, they got, you know, take the shot at it.
Their kicker has a very strong leg. Kofor can reach it from 50 yards, 55 yards. Schrittner. Fair catch at midfield. Now he can free kick it from there, and they can't rush him.
That's what I would do. I would take the free kick. In fact, I think they're going to do it.
They have to stay back off the line of scrimmage. They can't rush him if that's what they choose to do.
It would be interesting to see if the players even know that rule. You know, when I was coach, I was a head coach for 10 years. I always knew that rule, always wanted to use it, and never got the opportunity.
I saw it done once.
I did too. Paul Brown did it. I saw Paul Brown do it. In fact, the 49ers are doing it. Look, the fans don't know what's going on. Fans don't know what's going on. The Vikings don't know what's going on. The 49er coaching staff has to tell the 49ers. Look, the referee's getting up. They're telling the Vikings, get back. Look, Jerry
Get back.
Yeah, it's a free kick.
You got to give him 10 yards. The guy I saw do it was in Detroit. Didn't make it. But the guy I saw try it was Wayne Walker, who is now the 49ers radio broadcaster.
Wayne Walker did it?
Didn't make
linebacker.
It. Right.
This isn't it now. The fans don't know. They think this is a kickoff, I'm sure. This is a free kick. If it goes through, it's 3 points.
From 60 yards. Well, all I can say is I'm glad we knew the rule.
The fans don't know what they just said. They thought it was a kickoff, I'm sure.
That's the end of the first half with the score. San Francisco 21, Minnesota 3.
Sponsored by Delta Airlines. We love to fly, and it shows. Allstate for home, auto, and life insurance.
Brent, last night when I was over at the 49ers hotel, I talked to Bill Walsh, and I said, what are some of the things that have to happen for you to beat Minnesota? Because he truly believes Minnesota is the best team in the game this year. And he said 3 things had to happen. One, he had to protect Joe Montana, get him away from Millard and Thomas, the 2 inside defensive tackles. This is why Montana's been moving back and forth the first half. Secondly, he didn't want to have any more defensive backs hurt. He had Eric Wright, his fine cornerback, was inactive and couldn't play today. And the third thing he wanted to do is make sure that Montana kept up this pace the whole game as far as he could. Keep moving, stayed away, didn't make any of the big mistakes. So far in the first half, he's got 3 great wishes for Christmas and New Year's and the holidays. Thank you.
They weren't sure. They weren't very confident. Yesterday, he said to us, we don't think we've played our best game yet. But so far, John, I think they might have.
Well, control of the line of scrimmage, or they're going to be out and they're...
The National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Con Tampico Madero y un bombardero verdaderamente terrible.
WPEC in West Palm Beach, Florida. Channel 12. We hope you're enjoying this NFL playoff game where you are, right here on CBS.
Maybe they can send us some of that Florida weather to Chicago next week, huh?
I'll do the best I can. Short kick by Nelson, handled by Del Rogers, and knocked down at about the 23-yard line. In the first half, Joe Montana was 11 out of 14 for 111 yards, 3 touchdown passes. That ties a 49er playoff record. All 3 of those touchdown passes went to Jerry Rice, and already that ties an NFL playoff record. The 3 touchdowns.
I tell you, I went to practice, 49er practice on Friday. I just watched the way that Jerry Rice and Roger Craig were prancing around there, and on Friday they looked like 2 guys that were ready to go.
Well, so far Craig has had not a great day, satisfactory day, but Montana and Rice, you talked at the top of our broadcast about the producers and who had to do the production. Montana and Rice have done it. And I'm sure Craig has contributed.
And they're the guys that if they're going to win, they have to do it. And then on the other side, Wade Wilson and Anthony Carter are the guys that have to do it there, and they haven't done it. Anthony Carter has yet to catch a pass.
2nd and 7. Craig is the tailback. Rice is split wide to the right. Montana complete to Taylor. Reggie Rutland on the coverage.
There, if you look at this in the first half, you know, if you could narrow the game down to just 2 guys, which of course you can't, but Carter hasn't caught a pass, hasn't had any thrown to him. Rice has had 4 thrown to him for the 3 touchdowns. So in that thing, he's won that battle. But again, what I'm worried about Carter is that he loses things, that he gets out of the game, he gets frustrated. That's the biggest worry you have there.
7. 49ers at their own 27. For Rice, and not there. Carl Lee and Isaac Holt were with him step for step.
You know, and the other thing I think you have to talk about is the job the 49er offensive line has done, because Montana did throw those 3 touchdown passes. Jerry Rice did catch 3 touchdown passes, but the 49er offensive line helped provide that opportunity for him.
There is Anthony Carter, back now on punt returns. That's
always smiling.
Helton. Good kick to Carter. Tough place to maneuver. He nudges it back up to about the 39-yard line. A return of 9 yards, stopped by Ron Heller. You know, I think when you look at the score, obviously 21-3 in favor of San Francisco, you know about Bill Walsh and his offensive philosophies and the first 25 plays. I think the place that they have really, really improved and become much more of a force is on defense.
Yeah, that's the thing. When they're always going to be good on offense, and the 49ers will go as far as the defense takes it.
Wade Wilson. Intended Hassan Jones into his hands and out. Don Griffin made the stop.
You know what I think is a big thing on this series? You just come out of halftime. You've talked about it. I think, again, is that offensive line of the Vikings take a 49.
There's one bad spot on the field from the 40 to about the 20 or 25 on this end of the field, and that's where it seems like most of the game has been played. Here's Anthony Carter. Now they're out of that spot. That's his first catch. Jim Fonhorst.
And I'll tell you, they did that. They gave Wade Wilson time. And when Wade Wilson gets time, this guy can do this. He's working up through the zone. He drives up, then he comes in, finds a lane in there, and Wilson just hits him with it. But the protection starts, watch it in the middle right there. Loudermilk goes like that, Tausch, they just knock Carter down. Wow. Now he can step up and throw the ball.
McDaniel came out and picked up Haley. Why run it? Anthony Carter. And I think he came up with it. He did. Gain of 14. Diving catches. He was covered by Ronnie Lott.
Well, you know, I said if I were a coach last week, I said this, and I would put a note to myself to throw the ball to Anthony Carter 15 times a game, and I still believe that. I mean, they don't throw it to him in the first half. They aren't doing anything different. Just if they're going to zone, double zone, just let them run those in, because if you can get pass protection somewhere along the line, you'll find Anthony Carter.
That's Rick Finney. Kevin Fagan was the first man to hit him.
They're working on Chuck Thomas over there. He's a special teams guy. He's the snapper for the punt. And a guy like that isn't a very important guy until you have to punt. No one else becomes a very important guy to you.
All of a sudden you realize how important he is. 2nd and 10. Vikings at the 27, and Wilson back in the pocket. Up the middle to Jim Gustafson. It'll be 1st and goal at the 9, a pickup of 18. Holmo made the stop.
I'll tell you, whatever the 49ers did at halftime, or the Vikings did at halftime, it's working. And I think it all starts again. We see Jim Gustafson running it in here against Greg Cox. But the thing is, now he has pass protection. The first half wasn't the guys not getting open, because we didn't have time. Watch this pass. Boom, boom, solid in the middle. Boom there, keep your backs in. Give Wilson a pocket that he can throw that ball.
2 wide receivers to the right. They give it to Finney. Finney inside the 5, stopped by Michael Walter. But he got 6 yards. The Vikings need this one desperately to get back in the game. As John Madden said earlier, they bring the plays in with the fullbacks.
But I think the thing that they've done, I'm sure they talked about it at halftime, is that front group taking over right away, getting that ball taken over. And I don't know if they'll keep up with the rest of the game, but they are starting to do it right now, the Vikings.
Those front 5 guys. Wilson fakes the handoff, tried to roll out. Tina Turner, the veteran. They didn't fool him.
They didn't fool him. They're going to bring Ronnie Lott on a safety blitz straight up the middle. Now, that's going to watch him. You're going to see him coming right to the right of center. See Lott in there? They pick him off. Then Kramer is going to fake one way and go in a bootleg. Tina Turner, the old veteran, didn't fall for it. He saw those backs go away, and his next read is pick up the quarterback.
That's one of the reasons he was just activated this week. Wilson from the spread. Touchdown. Flag on the play. I think they hit him late. Hassan Jones caught the touchdown pass. I think the 49ers are going to be penalized for hitting Wade Wilson late.
And there was a whole bunch of them that hit it late. There was 2 or 3 guys there. Larry Roberts is one of them. Stubbs is one of them. 96 there. Oh, in fact, it was Stubbs. Larry Roberts was underneath. And it was Daniel Stubbs, 96.
Roughing the passer, number 96 on the defense. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
You see Hassan Jones here. He's working against Griffin. Works to the inside. Just gets inside the goal line, then right down the line. Under control all the time. So you don't go far enough away to get into the next guy.
That's one of those penalties that is not serious enough. They're going to penalize him on the kickoff, so what does that do?
But they do an opportunity, an onside kick. He missed it.
He missed the extra point. Maybe he doesn't like Candlestick Park so much.
He was 8 for 8 in Candlestick Park on field goals, and then he misses an extra point. How does that happen? He just hit the pipe.
Yes. The pipe got him. That's all you can say. It's 21-9.
Then they give him a bonus by giving him that 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. The one plus this does give you is the opportunity for an onside kick, but I'm sure that he'll just kick it in the end zone.
Yeah, he did a bouncer. Dell Rogers gets it out. Stopped by Sam Ano. San Francisco, the city by the bay where Candlestick Park is the home of the San Francisco 49ers. Oakland across the way. Home of John Madden. Close to Oakland.
That's right.
Next week, John will get that bus turned around and pointed Chicago at Soldier Field. The winner of this one to face the Bears. Montana out of the pocket. Chased. Finally just threw it away. And a flag on the play. Keith Millard involved in the chase.
I don't believe in that one. I think what they're doing is saying that again Montana threw away the ball to avoid the sack. But he can run out of bounds.
They're running the kick.
Is there anyone there? I guess there's no receiver there, so they're just saying that he can't do it because he was running and avoiding the sack. They got 2 of those on Wade Wilson.
On second down, Montana gets it out to John Taylor, who's treated like a rag doll at the end of that one.
Let's look at Joe Montana here, passing by distance. 7 for 10, under 10 yards. That's his biggest area. 4 for 4 between 10 to 20 yards. Now that's where they do most of the work in those first 2 areas. You can see 20 to 30, 0 for 1, and he's really not a deep passer anymore. I mean, if Joe Montana has lost anything over the years, it's the strength of arm.
Arm strength.
He's never been a big, deep thrower anyway. But that area from the line of scrimmage 20 yards deep is very effective.
3rd and 11 to Taylor, complete. He is hammered by Isaac Hope. 49ers will have to punt. And let's see who the snapper might be.
I'll tell you one thing is, we watch that. This this Viking defense and offense has come up fired up in this second half. But they talk about words like intimidation and all that stuff and hitting and being tough because they are that.
Randy Cross gets a good snap back to the punter, and the punter gets a good kick off. Barry Helton. Fair catch at the 35 by Anthony Carter. 8:31 left to play in the third quarter. 21-9 San Francisco, and remember that missed extra point between the Vikings and the 49ers. Matt Summerall and John Madden. 21-9. 49ers lead Minnesota. Nelson is the deep back. That's Jordan in motion. Outside quick to Jones. A bouncer. The Vikings come out and do basically the same thing.
I think as you look back at last week, they got those 2 scores early, but I think that drive at the start of the second half was the biggest drive of their game.
Flags from everywhere.
Ball start, number 65, offense, second down.
Zimmerman. They'll make it 2nd and 15.
Offensive tackles in this league will have more offsides or illegal motion against speed rushers than anyone. You put a speed rusher on an offensive tackle, and that's when he gets those moving too soon.
The 49ers shift their defense. Pass caught by Jones. Just outside the 40, a pickup of 11. He gets up rather slowly. Talking to Bob Snelker, John, before the game, as Hassan Jones trots off, he said he felt that this guy, some compliment.
Yeah, Bob Snelker's been in it all his life. I mean, he's one of those guys who, of course, he was a receiver, and then he's seen most of them. To figure that, I think that's nice. He wants to call timeout now.
And I asked
like Anthony Carter.
I asked 21-9. 7:43 left to play, third quarter at Candlestick Park. 49ers lead the Vikings 21-9. 3rd and 4, Minnesota ball at their own 40. 4 wide receivers. Wilson's going to have to hurry. Knocked away, intended for Gustafson. Good play by Torrey Nixon.
Hey, it's a big play because the 49ers had to be in man-to-man. If you look here, they're playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive linemen, then the extra rusher. So that means, one, they're going after the pass rush, but it also means that the secondary, when you play 5 defensive linemen, has to be in man coverage. And when you have guys like Anthony Carter out there and Hassan Jones, that is a big pressure to put on your defense. And you hope that you get the rush.
Torrey Nixon made the defensive play, and Scribner will have to punt it. Wobbly and funny look in and out of bounds. At the 27-yard line, the 49ers will take over. 30
outdoors. That's the way football should be. All championship games should be in Chicago.
Roger Craig. Taken down from behind by Keith Millard. A gain of only 1.
I'm sure the Bears are watching now. This is a tough thing. It doesn't do you any good to root. I mean, or to say, people say, who would you rather play? They all have to say, well, I don't care, because you can't do anything about it. Whoever wins, boom, you ship them in. Ship that group in and play them next Sunday. That's it.
All you can say is, I'm glad we're going to play somebody.
Yeah, I'm glad. And then, Minnesota's beaten them 3 times this year. And, so that would be a heck of a matchup. The 49ers are always interesting.
Incomplete, intended for Rice, covered by Reggie Rutland. Another guy who's really come on.
Hey, there's a pretty good player, Reggie Rutland. He doesn't get a lot of play. You talk about the defenses, and you know, by the time you get through with Millard and Dolman and Carl Lee and Joey Browner. But this guy plays, but he really plays with a lot of confidence for a second-year cornerback.
3rd and 9, the 49ers sent everybody left. Incomplete, but a flag. Going to be called against number 48, of whom we spoke, Reggie Rutland. He tripped.
He had the confidence, though, Pat. That was Jerry Rice. He's man-to-man, locked up out there all over the field. He got right up on him and took him on. What the heck? It's tough. You get tangled up sometime, but that's tough coverage. Reggie Rutland jumped right up there on him, though. He didn't back off.
Pass interference, number 48. Defense, automatic first down.
Yeah, it's easy to call on these guys, but look, here he is, man-to-man on Jerry Rice. He jumps up, he takes away the inside, but he should have left that left foot in there. You see, you can't get moved off. I wish I had a clicker on that one. That looks like pretty good coverage, though. But if he jams that left foot up in there, then Rice can't take it. When he backs the left foot off, he gets from the inside.
1st and 10, no penalty. Montana. A grounder to Rathman. Carl Lee was the nearest defender. I think most of the people in the arena thought that Montana had a lot of room to run, and it did look like it.
Montana at this stage in his career doesn't run unless there's a sideline near where he's running. You know what I mean? You get that middle of the field, you aren't going to get Joe Montana running anymore.
Well, he's always been intelligent.
Yeah. I'll tell you, and then that helps your survival.
2nd and 10 at the 37. 49ers in their own territory send Montana beat. Well, ball was loose, but he was down. Scott Studwell in his face.
Let's watch that play on Reggie Rutland again with a clicker. You see, watch, you see his left foot there? If he keeps that left foot up, Rice can't get in. When he turns that left foot, crosses over, now that gives Rice the inside. See? Boom. But I still think that's good coverage. I don't think you got to call that. I mean, I don't think that should give him an automatic first down.
As they say, it's too late now.
The minute Rutland got that left foot back, he gave Rice the inside.
Montana chased out of the pocket. Flag is down. They get him anyway. Rathman was the closest person. Here's Browner.
I think they're going to say Montana was in the grass. I mean, that was one of those where there was a couple of pass rushers right
Illegal
there.
use of the body, a tripping foul on number 62 offense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Let's have another look at that one.
Well, number 62 is the right guard, Guy McIntyre. Right there, he trips. And you see that he tripped against Henry Thomas coming up the middle. And then Mark Bright, the referee, saw it. He threw the flag. I thought he blew the whistle saying he was in the grass.
And then Browner comes up with the ball after it bounces off Rathman. So it's Viking ball, 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 43, at the San Francisco 43. Aaron Nelson in the arms of Mike Walter. That's one of those you just can't call until they get through with the calls.
Yeah, the first thing, I thought that they blew it dead, so it didn't make any difference.
That's what I thought.
What happened, but that was a penalty. He was calling on Guy McIntyre, so that made it a legal pass.
And I've never heard illegal use of the body before. Hands, yes.
Now, that's when you kind of throw a little more than just your leg out to trip it.
2nd and 8. Jordan was the man in motion. Wilson in the direction of Rick Finney, but the 49ers with heavy heat again.
By Kevin Fagan. Kevin Fagan was a right end, and he came on what they call a stunt. He's going to start out on the right side, and then he's going to come in up the middle. He starts out here, and then boom, he comes in that group. See, he starts out there. Now see him fake. Then when he comes up the middle, he gets a free shot. And Wilson had to get rid of the ball, or Fagan was going to be hanging on him.
3rd and 7 situation. Wilson will operate this time out of the spread. For a while, he has time. Anthony Carter incomplete. And no penalty flags. Tim McKyer.
You talk about confidence guys and confident corners. There is a confident Tim McKyer. Watch him out here, number 22. He's going to cover Carter. He's playing off him. Carter starts in. McKyer starts in. Now that's illegal there, that contact. And then as Carter starts out, McKyer starts out. Then he just gets that left arm over and gets to the ball.
Wade Wilson.
He's mad because he had him.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, there was a point where Anthony Carter had McKyer beaten.
Scribner trying to kick the high hanger into the end zone. They'll bring it back to the 20. 40-yard punt. The 49ers will operate from their 20. 4:46 left to play. In a lot of time left. At Candlestick Park. You think it's over when the ball goes in the end zone?
And the areas that always want to set tempo is special teams. Wyman Anderson's 24. Del Rogers is there. They say you aren't getting down there.
Never over till it's over.
And then some.
Craig hit behind the line of scrimmage by Millard again. A reminder again that tomorrow CBS.
Say tomorrow with that suey yell you got.
I've got a lot of paraphernalia I'm going to put on. Pass from Montana to Taylor. Stopped by Browner.
Montana may not have the strongest arm or strong arm as he used to, but I'll tell you, he can still put some zip on it. That ball to Taylor didn't stay in the air very long. That was an inside route. He got up over the top of that, and for baseball, you'd say he's throwing some heat.
Let's say he's learned how to throw, as they say in baseball. He learned how to pitch. He used to be a thrower.
He has good location. That's what they say in baseball.
Outside to Craig. To the 43, Scott Studwell, and Al Baker made the stop. The field is sticky at best. Certain parts are treacherous.
Yeah, this is what the guys do when they get over the sideline. They have one of those mats to get the mud out of their cleats. And that lasts for one play. I mean, you do that one time, boy, it feels good. I got traction, and you get traction once, and they're all clogged up again.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Rice is on the move this time. Second down. Montana back to throw it. Got it to Rice. Rice inside the Minnesota 30. Stopped finally by Harris. Rutland went for the interception. Just missed it. And Rice came up with it. Watch how close he comes.
Reggie Rutland was right there, and as you said, he wants to play him aggressively. Watch 48 there. There's the ball. He's going for the interception. Now that's great. If you get it, it's a touchdown for Rutland. If you don't get it, it's a big play for Rice. I mean, a corner has to do that. He's out there. He's playing aggressive. He just lost it.
The 49ers have a first down at the Minnesota 29. In that treacherous part of the field, here's Craig. He hasn't been able to get much going today. Gain of 4, however, that time stopped by Ray Berry.
I tell you, this game offensively, I think, has been the offensive line. You know, we hear so much about this Viking defense and Millard and Dolman and Thomas. They haven't gotten there. You know, Montana has had time to throw. And I think the first place you have to go is to the line. Because I'll tell you, if they had 5 or 6 sacks, that's the first place you go and blame. They had 9 sacks against the Rams, and everyone blames those guys.
Craig again. Straight ahead for a 49er first down. He picked up 10. Fullington and Studwell on the stop. 16 carries for 31 yards now for Roger Craig.
This is the area. He's starting in that area that was bad. Watch your feet digging in. Starting out, driving, reading the right side. Look at that cutback lane. You see, if you have your eyes open, that's the first thing a good running back has is good eyes. He can see. He starts to the right, and he saw that big hole back there to the left.
Craig again. Inside the 15 to about the 13. Picked up 3. Chris Dolman stopped him. Someone was saying, the 49er trainer was saying, in fact, yesterday, that Craig has the longest cleats on his shoes of anyone on his team. Perhaps in that treacherous spot, that's what helped him on that 10-yard run before.
And he knows when he plays at Candlestick, after it's been raining here, that whether the tarp is on or not, this is going to be a slick field, and it is today.
Clock is stopped now with 21 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Reggie Rutland is the injured Viking.
Watch it there. He hits it. You can see his head snap back like a whiplash thing.
The Vikings 9, and we now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CB. That's the bottom line.
Back at Candlestick Park. One more quarter to go. Pat Summerall, John Madden, the 49ers leading 21-9, and at the Viking 13-yard line. Rathman to about the 7-yard line. Stopped by Ray Berry. Picked up 6.
I was telling you earlier that Rathman said that what he wanted to do was never drop a pass. At Nebraska, he was a blocker and a runner. He said he always wanted to get it. Now, look at that right wrist there. He has that thing, it's Bruise Crew. It's that right thing on his wristband, and that comes from their special teams. They call their special teams the Bruise Crew. And he's one of the Bruise Crew guys who also plays offense.
Craig hit by Carl Lee first, but gets 3 yards and inside the 5. At the 4-yard line.
We look at eyes of linebackers. Here's the eyes of a running back. He's looking at, he's seeing everything. He's concentrating. That's the 3rd time in a row, though, he's run that, where he started into the right and cut back to the left.
Craig again. Touchdown.
Touchdowns. When you can get their running back in there and plow him into the end zone, the most excited guys are those offensive linemen. That's what they live for.
Hofer for the extra point. Great drive by the 49ers. One of 80 yards. Here's the touchdown.
On this one, Craig started right and didn't cut back. Look at that blocking. Guy McIntyre takes his guy out. Watch the lead there by 44 Rathman, and Roger Craig just runs right up his back.
Based on what we saw yesterday, does your bus have fog lights?
Yeah.
When it's Miller Lite, you can't lose. You get both. Hey, Spray, let's do it. Hey, Spray. Miller Lite isn't just a regular beer with a watered-down taste. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great. Let's do it. Hey, Spray, let's do it. Hey, Spray.
They went 80 yards. They kept the ball. 6 minutes and 5 seconds, and Roger Craig cracked up the middle for the touchdown from 4 yards away.
I'm sure Roger Craig is there now thanking his offensive lineman. He's talking to his center, Randy Cross, his left guard, Jesse Sapullo.
Well, those things you were talking about in the beginning about the producers.
Years in the playoffs, but it hasn't been thus far today. And again, I give a lot of credit to the lines.
Darren Nelson on the return. In the event, you might have joined the lead 7-3 in Montana. Touchdown pass to Rice, then another touchdown pass to Rice to make it 14-3, and then an 11-yard pass to Rice to make it 21-3. Vikings put together a good drive to make it 21-9, and the 49ers just scored again. A 4-yard run by Craig. Hassan Jones, the receiver. Jeff Fuller, the tackler, from Wade Wilson.
Still, they say the other thing is, and again, there's Randy Cross and the control at that offensive line. Usually an offensive lineman about midweek starts getting ready and says he's not going to shave until he whips someone. So they don't shave on Friday and Saturday, and that kind of toughens them up a little for battle.
Wilson batted away by Carter.
I think Carter's been pretty well controlled today in that by that middle, by Loudermilk in that group, and most of the havoc has been coming from the guys like Stubbs and Pierce Holt, and of course Charles Haley, Fagan, all those guys coming over the guards and the tackles.
Steve Jordan in motion, and Wilson back to throw it. Up the middle, intended for Alfred Anderson, covered by Michael Walter, who just cut him off at the pass.
Yeah, the tempo now, the 49ers are taking over this game. I mean, they have everything going. Everything they're doing is right, and the Vikings are just fighting everything. There's nothing that they can get going. And you know, the tough thing about it, when you get in, 10 teams get into the playoffs, and 9 of them have one thing in common. They're all going to lose their last game. And the finality of losing in the playoffs is the thing that weighs on you for 6 months.
It's a very depressing feeling. What we could have done. Daniel Stubbs takes down Wade Wilson. Right around Tim Irwin. 6 times Wilson's been sacked. This guy and Pierce Holt have given the 49ers what they had in their Super Bowl years.
Yeah, that's what they were looking for when they went into the draft this year. Those were the 2 first guys they drafted, Daniel Stubbs and Pierce Holt. 2 guys who could help them right now in the pass rush.
Scribner, a high kick, fair catch by Taylor. 37-yard punt by Scribner, and the Vikings have some work to do with 12 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. It's to why the 49ers are in control of this game. Jerry Rice's 3 touchdown passes. Anthony Carter's only caught 2. Joe Montana's had a hot day. Wade Wilson's been sacked 6 times. Montana's not through. Incomplete, intended for Taylor. Covered by Carl Lee, and covered well by Lee.
Now there's a guy who's been in battle. That's Kevin Fagan. I mean, he's been scratched, and he got stuff all over him, and that's the way a defensive lineman should look. Look, you stick that arm in there, and stuff just starts coming down. There's a way an offensive lineman should look. I mean, you got a little blood in there, you got a little paint, you got a little dirt, you got a little bird, a little beard going there. This is football. I mean, this is what it's all about. You go to training camp, you play all year. This is it, playoff time.
And most of the game's been played in that dirty spot right there. Keith Millard. For a loss of one. Roger Craig was the ball carrier. Beg your pardon, Rathman.
You know, it's funny, as you say, there's one bad spot around 20 yards there, and it seems like 99% of the game's been played there.
Right on that spot. Happy New Year to you too.
Yeah, those two have no idea whether you blow it up or stuff it.
Or what year it is.
They just ended up at a game. They were looking for a party and ended up at a game.
3rd and 11. Craig has got some room. Fumble. Vikings have it. That's happened to Roger Craig frequently in the last month of the season. The ball is just stripped from him.
Yeah, this will be the 4th time coming into this game. He has fumbled 3 games in a row. I think Bill Walsh was worried a little about that. But again, this is a great run. He just has things going for him. Everything is going his way. And then just before he's running up the field, Darrell Fullington, number 29, jumped in and just knocked the ball out of there.
Henry Thomas made the recovery. And the Vikings get some life. Wilson goes to work. Over the middle, Jordan. Stopped by Jeff Fuller. They're not through yet.
No, they aren't, because when you got a guy like Wade Wilson who can throw like he throws and scramble, you know, he can come up with a big play. And, you know, I don't mean to harp on something, but I have too much respect for Anthony Carter to believe that they should be staying away from him as long as they have.
Carter, split wide left, they go to Jones, and Jones fields it inside the 15, stopped again by Fuller. Gain of 12. One of the things Wade Wilson said last night, we were talking with him, was when I come up to the line, there are 2 places I want to find out, 2 people I want to find out where they are. One is Fuller, the other is Haley.
Well, he wants to find out Fuller, Jeff Fuller, number 49, a strong safety, where he lines up. Because if he's up in or around the line, then they have to account for him in pass protection. You see, like he is now. He's up in where he has to be accounted for.
Wilson quickly gets rid of it in the direction of Carter, but the heat was on again by Haley.
Yeah, and then the reason he wants to know where Haley is he doesn't want Haley to get matched up with a running back. He always wants to have his pass protection in a position that he's going to have a tackle blocking Charles Haley. Now, Haley's something. I mean, he's one of the top pass rushers in this league. He's from James Madison.
A lot of talent in a lot of places. Wilson in zone and out. Again, under pressure from the 49ers.
Yeah, you talk about James Madison, though, and Haley being from there. You wonder what kind of team they had. That Gary Clark from the Redskins.
And a lot more than just James.
Yeah. Everybody used to call it Little James Madison. They get mad when you put Little in front of James Madison.
We had a waiter yell at us once about it.
Yeah, he said, don't call it Little all the time.
Here's Wilson, and again, pressure is on him. It ran it to Carter, and he dropped it. Incomplete. He would not have had a first down if he'd been able to hang on. Ronnie Lott hit him. And again, a little altercation.
There's Haley, man. He's down there. He's rushing the passer. He wants some of that post contact. Yeah, I think someone called James Madison Little. Someone said, hey, you're from Little James Madison. He said, baloney, Little.
Not anymore.
What are you talking about?
Jones and Gustafson go wide to the left. Carter is split wide to the right. Wilson has to come up under the center because of the noise. 49ers come after him. Nothing doing there. Hassan Jones was the intended receiver. Incomplete. The 49ers defense does it again.
And that defense defense has been doing it all day.
28-9, the 49ers lead with 9:42 left. At Summerall with John Madden, and we're at Candlestick Park. The Vikings and the 49ers, who have dominated this game. Looks like they're going to Chicago. Rathman.
You know, an interesting thing, Pat, you know, the game yesterday in Chicago, the fog came in the second half, and one of the big things is film exchange, because there is a rule that you have to exchange. So in other words, on a coaching film.
And they can't see the second half of the game between the Eagles and the Bears. People feel will be the #1 draft choice, and the choice of the Dallas Cowboys. Second down. Craig is out in the open and off to the races. Roger Craig. Turn it on, Roger.
Roger Craig. The longest of his career. Did you see the first guy down there was Steve Wallace, number 74, the left tackle, to congratulate him? He was the guy, he and Jesse Sapolo, the left guard, were the guys that made the hole for Roger Craig to hit on that longest run of his career. Watch it on the left side here. Here's Wallace, here's Sapolo, and that's where the hole comes, right in there. Watch him, they block down. Sapolo gets a good block. Missed tackle right in there. That was one of the big things for it. Carl Lee was up there and just missed the tackle. He outrun John Harris. But the next guy, or the first guy in the end zone with him, is going to be Steve Wallace, the guy that made the first block to break him loose.
His second touchdown of the day. He's gained 136 yards. That's the longest run in 49er playoff history. Previous record was 71, held by the great Hugh McElhenney. He's also gained more yards.
And Roger Craig lived with that thing that in the 3 playoff games he'd only gained 57 yards. I'll tell you, he was fired up today. Well, he was fired up a couple days ago. When he ran on that field in the pregame introduction, you could see a determined man today.
Hofer's kick is picked up at about the 3 by Nelson, and he is knocked out of bounds. Hit down by Terry Greer. The 49ers and their bus, if they choose to go that way, will be headed for Chicago.
That's the good news. The bad news is, look at that one, the home team has won the championship for the last 8 years. So the good news is, you win, you get to go to Chicago, but the bad news is, in the championship game, the home team wins all the time.
And another reminder that John Madden's bus will be headed for Chicago, I think, probably before the 49ers take off. Draw play to Allen Rice, and nothing there.
The other guy guy the tailback always thanks is his fullback.
There is a flag on the play. 49ers this season in week 8 at Chicago on a Monday night. The Bears won 10-9. The Bears lead the series between these two teams, 24 for the 49ers, 25 for the Bears, and one tie. They met in the NFC
Personal
Championship
foul.
of 1984.
Unnecessary roughness, number 49 defense, a shot to the face. Automatic first down.
There's the owner of the 49ers talking on the phone in a white shirt and a red tie. That's Eddie DiBartolo Jr. There is a happy owner. He looks like he's giving some instructions, though.
And complete. 34-9 the score.
Eddie DiBartolo is a very involved owner. As Bill Walsh said, this is Eddie DiBartolo's team, and there's a lot of speculation as to whether Bill Walsh will be back to coach the 49ers again. He will. I think the end is near, and I think it's going to be his choice. I'm talking not about Eddie DiBartolo's choice, but Bill Walsh's choice. Eddie DiBartolo said he would like to have him back. But I don't know that Bill Walsh is going to be back.
Complete, intended for Hassan Jones. Here's Steve Young loosening.
I remember the last time the 49ers played the Vikings in October here in regular season. It was Steve Young who played that whole game. Joe Montana was hurt. A great run at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There is a happy coach and a happy quarterback. I think they both just got a monkey off their back.
Wade Wilson. Pass is picked off by Ronnie Lott. Lott loses it and gets it back. But the 49ers have the ball in Minnesota territory. And Montana returns. Remember that defeat last year at the hands of the Vikings, which was so convincing.
These fans are going to stay all day and enjoy this one, because with the Bears winning, the championship game's going to be there, so this is the last game of this season.
That's Terrence Flagler, the ball carrier. Joey Browner, the tackler, and a flag on the play.
Well, Joey Browner was worried about a face mask. He came up to tackle him, and you grab him. Oh, 15 yards. Usually it's 5 yards. 15 yards has to be a flagrant one. There, he gets it. That's the end of the run. Let's see if we can see it from this angle.
Yep. See it pretty well. Montana comes out. Steve Young, the quarterback, and Harry Sidney, the runner, stopped by Henry Thomas.
I was coming across from Minnesota last week, and we stopped in Nevada, and I stopped at a place, and someone had just had a baby, and they named the baby Joe Montana, whatever their last name is, but the baby's first name is like 5 weeks old. The baby's first name was Joe, second name was Montana, and a big 49er fan, and the guy told me, he said, I'll tell you what, he said, the 49ers are going to win, and Montana's going to have a big game against the Vikings.
Flagler again. Stopped by Carl Lee. 6:40 still left to play. The 49ers lead it 34-9.
I know when I talked to Joe Montana the other day at the 49er practice field, He said after he watched last year's game, he felt a lot more confident because he said we had to live with that for a year like it was just terrible. He said we were close. He said in the first half we played pretty well. He said things fell apart in the second half and we weren't as good. But he said after watching last year, I feel a lot better about our chances this year.
It'll be 3rd and 9. Flagler, fake to him, the handoff to Sidney. To closely monitor his blood sugar throughout the day. Zip line. Elton aiming for out of bounds, didn't get it done. Jerry Rice, 3 touchdowns for him.
And he has been. You see that dial on the side, it says flash. He's been a flash today.
Really? So is he, Joe Montana.
Joe Montana is as sharp as I've seen him, or he was as sharp today as I've seen him in 3 or 4 years. Talking to his big tackle, Harris Barton, there about how well they pass protected today, which I think is a big part of the story, too.
Sure.
Montana did it and all that, but the line gave him time to do it.
Screen pass to Allen Rice. Gets outside the 30, a Minnesota first down, stopped by Torrey Nixon. And Tom Homo, a pickup of 12 and a... Wilson back to throw it again. Gets it outside to Alfred Anderson. He's out of bounds. 49ers revenge, and I don't care what they say. Both teams have tried to minimize San Francisco. Well, the NFC Divisional playoff game led at this moment by the 49ers. Stick around. You'll be seeing it as soon as football is over, except on the West Coast where you'll see it at its regular time. The game summary. Jerry Rice of the 49ers. Those are the producers who had to produce, and they produced. Anthony Carter, covered by Don Griffin. Wade Wilson. Hassan Jones. Five-yard pickup, and the clock in command, except for the opening drive all day long. The defense, excellent. The offense, superb. Alfred. Eddie DeBartolo has already departed and is in the locker room.
That's what an owner does, man. I mean, he cleans his hands before he shakes hands. That's some kind of guy, yeah. You wash your hands to shake hands. Man, I never done. These guys are coming in to the owner. They're coming in there. They're going to have mud and dirt and sweat and blood and boogers and stuff hanging off, and he's going to clean up to shake hands.
Well, he may have somebody else in mind.
Yeah, that's great to get him down there and get involved in that. Says that'll provide everything you need.
Oh, yeah. Great place for football.
Yeah, Soldier Field on grass in Chicago. How can you beat that for the NFC Championship and the right to go to the Super Bowl?
Rick Finney, the ball carrier, picked up. Wilson back to throw it. Going deep to Carter. Incomplete. Knocked down by Don Griffin. But as we quoted him statistics, he said, well, now, that's all fine. But can you tell me how we did it?
Yeah, and even more important, what we're going to do tomorrow. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, you can get all this. What's going to go on?
2nd and 10, Minnesota. At the 49er 33. Incomplete. Intended for Rice. Oh, you were talking earlier about whether or not Bill Walsh would be back.
Have another tight end. You'd like to have a linebacker. Those are the 3 things you'd like to help this team in the draft.
Wilson incomplete. Ronnie Lott hit the intended receiver, Allen Rice. Cut him off at the pass.
Ronnie Lott is a guy who's out there, and those are the special guys in this game.
Wade Wilson, 4th and 10. Leo Lewis, out of bounds. It was a catch. 2 minutes, 2 seconds remain. Don Griffin was on the coverage.
And I think that's one of the big news for the 49ers, or one of the happy things, that Don Griffin hold up. Will it not pop out again? And I think the fact that he has been able to play, he has a harness on there, that should pay.
They lead 34-9. Wilson gets it out to Allen Rice. Stopped by Jeff Fuller. We get the 2-minute warning after that 7-yard gain. And the 49ers lead the Vikings 34-9. It's all tonight on CBS. Wilson gave it to Allen Rice. Rice got it on a bounce. Then got close to recovering. Daniels Stubbs came up with the fumble. The 49ers will take over at their own 1-yard line.
It's been that kind of day for the Vikings. The 49ers came out fighting them, and they fought them all day. Allen Rice gets the handoff, then he fumbles, then he makes a pretty good move, then he makes a nice run, and just before he gets to the goal line, the ball pops out. Daniel Stubbs comes up with it.
The 3rd turnover by Minnesota. A minute 46 left. 34-9 49ers. Great day for Montana. Great day for the 49er offensive line. Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, Bill Walsh. Young just ducks inside.
As you said, the goes to the line, and the job they did.
Well, that man said
of it. Who says it ain't over till it's over? Then when Bill Walsh smiles, puts his arm around his quarterback and poses for a picture,
we can keep it close. We can run it.
One thing about Mike Ditka, he was prophetic, because I remember after they this win by the 49ers.
Mike Ditka doesn't really look like a prophet, but in this case he was.
Look at that smile. I'll tell you, those are two guys, I said it before, there's been a monkey just lifted right off their backs. And if you don't think you can see that, then you don't see it. But it's there. I'll guarantee you, a lot has come off the backs of those two men.
Well, now they got something else on their back. A coach.
You get the monkey off the back, and then you get on the back.
Well, Montana said to me before the game, he was ready, and he was. Final score, the 49ers 34, the Vikings 9. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show coming up next. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
The victorious San Francisco 49ers, who after a 3-year drought have finally won a playoff game. Dick, what impressed you the most about the 49ers today?
Well, you know, we're talking about defense all day, but I think the credit goes to Bill Walsh and his staff. They put together those defenses and everything else, and they had that extra week off. He did that, you know, had them 4 days off, and they were sharp, and they just performed, executed their game plan, I imagine, to perfection.
Dick, they were extremely impressive all across the country, and next week they go to Chicago to take on the Bears in the NFC Championship game, and we can tell you that the Bears are the favorite, but not by much. They are only a 2.5-point favorite in Soldier Field now over the 49ers. That will be the second game on Championship Sunday. The opener will be played in Cincinnati, and the Bengals have been installed as a 3.5-point favorite over Buffalo. We want to bring in live now the head coach of the Chicago Bears back home, and that, of course, is Mike Ditka. Mike, congratulations on the job yesterday. You brought the fog in at the right time, I think. What's the aftermath of the big fog story in Chicago?
Well, we don't care about that, but we're not 2.5-point favorites. The weather is. That's the only thing that could be favored, but it was kind of unusual. I've never seen anything like it in my life, and it was a perfect day for one half of the football game, and in the second half something happened. I think Mr. Hallis sent the fog to us.
Mike, tell me about your quarterback situation now. Will Mike Tomczak be your starter or Jim McMahon against the 49ers?
It's a pretty personal question to be asking this early in the week, Brent.
Well, yes.
I'm glad you asked it.
I would like to have an answer this early in the week.
I can't show preference to you because I have the Chicago media waiting for me right after I'm done with you. But we'll start somebody. Believe me, one of the guys will start.
Well, Mike Tomczak is healthy, though. He is able to play if you need him, obviously. He's not going to miss the game because of an injury.
Well, if you knew that, why'd you ask me?
What about
the... make it easy for you?
Mike, what about
he's pretty healthy.
All right. What about the performance of the 49ers now in this game?
Outstanding. Which there was a point during the season when I said they were the best football team in the league, and then, of course, something happened. They had a little thing, and they had to regroup, and they did regroup, and I think they proved what they're all about today. I think if there's any satisfaction that comes in, and I guess paybacks, they really paid one back today in full force. So we understand the 49ers very well. They're an excellent football team with in my opinion, as good a coach as there is in the game. So our work will be cut out for us. It's been an uphill battle for us all year, and it's just going to be another uphill battle. We just do the best we can.
All right, Mike, we'll see you next week in Soldier Field. We'll continue live from San Francisco in just a moment. The final score could have been a couple of extra points kicked there in the second half of this game, too. And let me remind everybody that's still ahead of us. Prime time on CBS tonight, 60 minutes except on the West Coast. The locker room and Irv Cross, Irv.
Brett, the victorious 49er locker room. Coach, last year's loss to Minnesota Vikings was described by many people in the Bay Area as a disaster for the 49er franchise. What does today's victory mean to the franchise?
Well, we're back where we've been. We've been one of the top teams in the 80s, and we're still trying to go even further this year. But we're really pleased. We beat that particular team and beat them pretty soundly, and it shows we're still up and kicking.
Well, next week it's going to be Chicago. Your thoughts about the Bears?
Well, they're a great team and a great city. We know where we're going. We've been there already once this year and had a real tough game. So we think we can play as hard as anybody. We're looking forward to the game, but we have a lot of respect for the Chicago Bears.
Congratulations, Coach. A great win. Brett?
All right, Irv, thank you very much. So, again, the last 8 NFC championship games have been won by the home team, and San Francisco will attempt to end that streak next Sunday afternoon in Soldier Field. A reminder that tomorrow, especially those of you who follow the Dallas Cowboys, a chance to take a look at the man you'll probably make the #1 draft choice. The NFC Divisional Playoff from San Francisco, where the 49ers have advanced to the championship game by beating the Minnesota Vikings 34-9. So long, everybody.